Hi, I'm Natasha Lockhart. Welcome to Studio Chatter. We've got some great topics coming your way.
I'm Stacy Beck. We'll learn about getting ready for spring planting around the yard.
And I'm Angie Murphy. We'll also talk about how cake decorating helped one woman through a personal crisis.
And the Spanish Fork Hospital will be celebrating a birthday. All this and more on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. I'm back. Did you miss me?
Yes.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
Angela was a great fill-in.
Yeah,
but
she did great.
Yeah, she did really good.
She's ready to come back whenever we need a break.
Okay.
Yep. So we can just rotate if we need
I
an
know.
out. We've got her.
And that's what I told her. I said, maybe you should just rotate in.
Uh-huh.
There you
Yep.
go.
Okay.
But
Sounds
we
like a
did
plan.
miss you.
Oh,
Stacy
thank
did a
you.
great job over there.
Oh,
I did
I
not
like-
want to be in the big chair.
I like moving over
The
there.
big chair.
Yeah.
Big
Okay.
chair. And you've got braces.
And I got
since we-
braces, guys.
Yes.
How
you
is
did.
it?
It's been pretty good. That first week was crazy, guys. I had wax just everywhere. I just wasn't used to it, but your mouth like gets calloused or maybe formed to it. So it's better, but like I sound like I have a lisp. I have to be really careful with what I say.
Don't, no?
And
But-
was it planned, or how did you decide to get
No,
braces?
not really, guys. So we went into, had to get that tooth pulled. So I was gonna have to get an
Right.
implant there. Well, the teeth started kind of shifting a little bit, and they already were a little bit planing back.
Okay.
Okay.
But with that gone, it planed even more. And so I kind of
That
talked to
fast?
him. Yes. And I kind of talked to him, and I was like, they're kind of crooked anyway. I've talked about like getting them fixed. And he said, if you're going to, go in. So he's like, go talk to Chris Trapnell, who I know really well
Yeah.
as well. So I went in there, and we were just chatting. And he's like, yeah, I think we should do it. He's like, I think it'll be a better outcome. And if we do the bottom, we'll do the top. Do you want to do it now? I was like, now? Like, I need to process this. And he's like, I've got a chair open. Let's do it.
My gosh.
So my family, I was telling him, maybe I told you guys this, but I went home and Rhett didn't even know. He knew I was going to the consult.
Right, but not
Getting braces. So I came home and I was cooking dinner. He came and helped me, and then I kept like, look at me, look at me, and he didn't. I was like, I saw Chris Trapnell today, and he's like, oh yeah, he gave me a surprise. Oh really? And I just joined out, and he's like, oh, you got braces.
Oh, wow.
my
So then he
gosh.
had to test. He said one thing: let me test and see if I can kiss you.
Isn't that so funny?
And it was okay, right?
It was weird and awkward.
It was like
Yeah.
a 13-year-old kiss, your
It
first
was.
kiss.
Yep, totally.
So we just went through the process.
Yes, Barrett got
Barrett.
them.
Yes, we just got her braces. So if you had not just jumped in that day, would maybe like Invisalign or something like that have been an option for you? I mean, they look fantastic.
I think so, but Invisalign takes a little bit longer, and this is just going to be condensed into 1 year, which is really great. And I wasn't nervous about having them or showing them or being in them.
Yeah,
So
right. You're
I
like,
think
just
that,
let's
yeah,
jump
let's do it. Let's just get it done is what I
Yeah.
wanted.
Well, the outcome will
But
be
I think
awesome.
that if he hadn't told me that day, I really would have overprocessed it and maybe like, do I need it or not? And so I'm
Sometimes
glad.
It's good to just jump in, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like our consult was that day as well. They're like, right now, like you're ready to go. I'm like, oh no, and I'm not. I'm like, we have to process and look at all of our options and make sure. Well, she take care of it.
Calendar
And yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Kind
Wow.
of crazy.
So has she
But they look great.
adjusted?
She's adjusted.
Okay.
Great. Yes. We just tell all the the wax, the tools, the
Yeah.
things that no squishing her cheeks. So don't let me squish
No,
your
it
cheeks. 'Cause
hurts.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably as an adult, we don't get very many squishy.
No, we don't. Lots of people don't really touch this. But like a facial or something like that, like it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we haven't had, I mean, a lot of time to get back together
No,
or
we
catch up
haven't.
on
It's been a
all
good
the
month.
things. But I was stalking you like totally on social
So
media.
jealous. Like that's where I want to go.
It's
Okay,
like
have
the
you not
best
been?
trip.
No,
You've been.
my kids
yes.
have been. I have
Yes.
not.
Okay, so this is what I tell everyone. Do not wait until you're 50 to go to DC.
Okay, I've got a year then.
Well,
Two.
Maybe
okay,
make it
plan
your
it
trip
now.
then, yes,
It
because
just, any American, I think, should go
Amen.
there. It was incredible. It's just like when you go to any big city, like where that you've read about in the news, that you've read books about, that you've seen on movies, that you've everything, and you're just like, oh, I thought the Capitol was there and the White House was here.
Totally.
Oh,
Or
so now it's
smaller,
placed like-
bigger.
yeah, it just puts everything into perspective. And just so many things answered, but to just walk around the town and imagine what it would have been like when it was just first getting established, when there were dirt roads and the women were wearing their big skirts and the presidents were probably actually walking the streets. It was phenomenal.
Just so
there
much
were
history.
a couple days that I just woke up giddy, literally, about my day ahead. Like, I got out of a convention at 2 and Chris was working that day and I was like, are you going to be able to walk with us? No, I'm on the computer. Okay, I'm out of here. So Uber, come find us when you're done, because like I can't sit. Like I've got to
How did
go.
you plan it? Like, I think you need to send me your itinerary.
I totally
know
had
exactly
an
where to go.
itinerary. I made a Google document, and just like I would ask people, where do I need to go? And I would just.
Okay,
Well,
I need that.
I had to
really
plan it
wanna
out,
do
and
it.
then with a major snowstorm came in, so we had to switch some days because during the snowstorm we wanted to be in the museums
That's a
that
good
day,
idea.
and we packed accordingly because spring weather. My disappointment, I should say, is the Holocaust Museum. We could not get tickets. Right. Everyone said that's a must. The other thing was the cherry blossoms.
Yes.
They were just barely
about.
starting to bloom.
So like 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks later, like right now.
Yeah.
April.
Okay. April.
Yes.
And
April of
you would
next
love
year.
it. Okay,
Gonna pencil me in.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll just send you my itinerary.
Okay,
I may
I'd
have
love
deleted
that.
it today, but
So awesome. Glad you enjoyed.
Yeah.
well, welcome back, Natasha.
Yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited
It's
to
good to
hear
have
about
you.
why you were gone in our upcoming episode.
I will be sharing. Next on Studio Chatter is your thumb starting to turn green. Our next guest can help you with that. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. As the temperatures steadily get warmer, our minds turn to spring gardens. Welcome Travis and Stephanie Knopp from the Laughing Owl Greenhouse to the table.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
So
y'all
is that
doing?
how you say your last name? Knopp?
No, it's Canoop.
Canoe.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Did I do 2 O's or did I do?
I don't know.
What did I
You
do?
just got to pronounce it the old German way.
Okay.
So is it a German name?
It is, yeah. German Dutch. Yeah, we're both German and Dutch.
No wonder you're in the flower industry.
I know, right? You got to keep it in the
makes
blood.
sense.
I'm
to
a
me
little
now.
Dutch too.
Are you?
Yeah, we must be long distantly related.
Well, you know what they say, you know, the old Dutch saying, if you're not Dutch, you ain't much.
Yes, or you're not up to much.
Yeah, there you go.
Something.
Well, you guys. Okay, that's great conversation.
Welcome back.
Okay, well,
we
thank
haven't
you.
seen you since last spring.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah.
And did you learn anything in this first year?
We learned a lot what not to do.
there's been a lot of growth, right?
So much.
You've done
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of great things, but tell us
Right.
what you learned.
Well, so last year when we took over in December, and so we were already 4 months behind the 8 ball. And so it was just a mad rush just to try to get product down on the ground. And this year we're a lot better prepared. We took a lot of constructive criticism, a lot of feedback from our customers as to, you know, what did we miss out on, what do we need to improve on, and we took all of that feedback and reconstructed a whole new plan for 2022. And so we've delivered on everything that they've asked, plus some more fun and exciting things that are coming down the pipeline. So yeah.
Wow. As I recall, you are from the Carolinas. So
So originally we're from New Mexico, but we spent
Okay.
many years out in the Carolinas where I worked for a company called Metrolina Greenhouses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you learning from the Utah crowd?
So there's definitely a lot more traditional thinking, I guess you can safely say, and you know there's just been a lot more demand on like smaller items like your pack items, 6-packs, 3-packs,
Okay.
and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before. We like to try and do it ourselves.
Right.
And then we
is
tell
that-
them.
And so my
A lot of
mentality.
DIY here. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of my mentality from the Carolinas was, well, let me do a good majority for you. And a lot of the folks here were like, nope, we like to
do it ourselves.
We want to do it ourselves. And so we
That
changed.
is a big change.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, I can think that way maybe with like the wine, or not the wine, but the whiskey barrels.
Yeah.
That people want to probably do that by themselves.
Yep.
Or have you been bringing them in and then filling them?
So we do, actually, we're doing both.
Okay.
Right. So we've got a lot of customers that we'll look at our recipes and like, we love this one. Where are all these components? Or where are all these flowers? Where we can find them? And we'll take them straight to the greenhouse and be like, okay, it's these, and this plant right here.
Okay.
You can build it exactly like this. And then there's other customers like, no, just do it for me. And so we have a whole house dedicated to just our custom builds. And even if you wanted to bring in your own planters, that last year we weren't able to do that because of COVID. But now that all those mandates have been lifted, people can now bring in their planters and we can custom build directly into their planters for
And you're
them.
needing to do that ASAP if you want. I mean,
Correct,
I'm sure
yeah.
that you could always build for them with what you guys have on
Right.
stock.
Well, so last year we had a customer bring in their planter April 21st, and we had it ready for Mother's Day.
I just dropped mine off a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
But last time I brought mine in, oh, they were beautiful. You guys
Oh,
did
thank you.
just gorgeous. And I loved that this year I was able to say, do you have what you did last year on file? And you said yes. So I'm like, okay, do the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Because I just loved it. I wouldn't even know what to tell them, of course, because I don't know my flowers.
Right, so every custom recipe that we have and every customer has their own special cataloged file.
Okay.
And so anytime anybody places an order, everything's electronically recorded. And then so if they say we want it exactly like it was last year, we just pull up what we did for y'all last year.
I love that.
Well, no, what great thing too is that they, rather than just asking people, what do you want in your planter? They actually ask what colors, what kind of do you want look?
Right.
And then they go through and find what actually is going to do well in Utah. Because it's different of finding what you like the picture of and what actually will survive and do great all through the summer months.
Yeah, and where
Right.
at your house? Is it in a shade, under a porch,
Right.
in the front west
Correct.
facing? You need to get all
This
that.
is totally me. On my porch, I want all this color, and I was like, it gets absolutely no sun. We're north facing. So now it's just mainly greenery, but I need to come talk to you guys. I'm too lazy to bring my pots down, okay?
That's okay.
It's a
We have
lot of work,
drop-ins.
but I am going to come and talk to you guys and build. I'll take pictures.
Well, we have drop-ins that you can just, as long as you know how big your pot is, we have custom drop-ins that you can just take and drop it right into your pot. Then you don't even
That's
have
what
to.
I'm doing.
Then you don't even have
That
to
is
carry your
what I'm
pots in,
doing.
which is
Yes,
so great.
Amen. That is so awesome. Well, I've been watching your social media a little bit, and it looks like you've expanded in many ways, like
Yes.
room and staff. And tell us a little bit more about what's going on that way.
And some events maybe or
Yes.
something.
Oh yeah. So for me, like what I really enjoy doing is expansion and growing, and so we've actually added in a significant amount of square footage of growing space, and so we added perennial beds. We've added over 12,000 square feet of perennial growing space. The goal is next fall, 2023, we plan to start deconstructing our standalone greenhouses, and we're going to be adding gutter connects. So basically, they're greenhouses that connect to each other. And so we can expand the facility. We can get 4 times the amount of square footage under one roof. And so that we're able to offer more product, better quality, and be able to have it year round for everybody. So those are the
that's
plans.
exciting.
Year round would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of the winter tundra, like January, February, I want flowers or
Right.
something, or just to go fill the green.
So the actual garden center itself, we plan on putting a roof over it, and then during the wintertime, we plan to do our house plants. So we opened up our houseplant division.
So cool. So tell us a little bit more about what's going on with maybe hosting
Yes,
events or something.
we had our first wedding and we hosted a birthday party too for someone. So especially if you want an event that's maybe a little smaller or whatever the size, but you don't want to do it at your house or you're on a budget, it's a great place to just come in. We'll help you set up everything and the plants for decoration.
You could just go through your shop and be like, I want
It
this
turns
color
out
palette.
so gorgeous.
Oh.
So
But
you're
both
kind
events.
of in a side room or greenhouse?
So one of the greenhouses, so there's heating
Okay.
and cooling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And we do, part of the expansion plan is to add a wedding venue.
Okay.
So we'll be adding in a large area where we can host events. And the key is to, we understand that Utah is very popular for weddings and birthday parties and so on, but there's not a lot of places that offer good parking or are really affordable. And
That's
so
true.
our whole goal is to make something affordable and something beautiful for our customers.
Wow.
We want to invest in our community, because we feel the more you invest in the community, the more they'll invest back in you. So
We can definitely feel that in you guys. And I
Yeah,
love your
totally.
long-term vision.
Oh,
You
thank
didn't
you.
just buy this greenhouse from the Hansons and think, let's give it a shot. You're here for the long haul.
Totally.
Definitely,
I feel that too.
Tell us about where you're located. If we have any viewers, they might be like, now where is Laughing Owl Greenhouse? Where on earth?
Yeah. So we're right off of exit 253, which is the Benjamin exit. Basically, once you get off that exit, you're going to head west, like you're going to West Mountain. You'll see us on the right-hand side. You can't miss us. There's a big box truck there that says Laughing Owl Greenhouses. And you'll see it. You'll see a lot of new growing space that we've added in there. You'll see a lot of growing plants and stuff going on that's all built around there. There's a whole new tree lot out there now, so it's tough for us to miss. So.
Cool.
Well, you must be working hard. We can already see your tan. So
Yeah.
that's
The sun is out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sun is
that's
out.
fantastic.
Well, it's a fun time of year. And I can't wait to come pick up my pots.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Thank you. And hanging baskets for Mother's Day. So
Yes.
many
Oh
things.
yeah,
Yes.
show us really quick that hanging
Yeah.
basket.
So we actually brought in a custom. Right here behind us.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so this is
Travis.
just one of the recipes. We have a designer on staff. Her name is Marin. And basically, she designs these from scratch. And we use nothing but premium lines and proven winners. The whole goal is to have these baskets, whether it's a hanging basket or a planter, go from Mother's Day all the way into the winter time. So we only choose the very best of the best of what you can buy on the market.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Succulents. Gosh, that's
Succulents,
succulents
houseplants.
and-
yes.
We got some house plants right up in here. This is just a little sample giddy of what we have. And
Oh,
We
gorgeous.
have fun new colors.
see, look at these new. You got,
What is this little guy, though?
Yes.
oh yeah,
Cute.
our little sloth. Yeah,
Oh, my son loves sloth. Maybe he could keep this alive for me.
yeah,
That's darling.
That is darling.
yeah. That's part of
Wow,
our succulent line that we have, and you'll find that in our house plants as well. We have some house plants that are in some of these ceramic animals and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, we focus on things that haven't been seen in the market before, and unique colors like these little speckled petunias.
Oh,
And
they're pretty. All of these are beautiful, and the smell of them.
Yes.
I know,
Okay.
right? Smell the
It smells
green.
like summer.
Yep.
yeah,
Fantastic.
We look forward
Thank you,
to seeing
guys.
you down there.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming up on Studio Chatter, we'll hear how cake decorating helps solve a personal crisis. Stay with us to learn more. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guest took her love of cake decorating and used it to solve some heavy emotional issues. Please welcome Rachel Smith with Cakes by Rach to our table. Welcome.
Hello, guys. We know her. She's our ward member, former young woman, friend of my girls.
Good friend, good
yeah,
friends.
really good
Well,
friend.
and she makes a darn good cake.
Well, and that too. That's a
Because
specialty
we've
moment.
all
Yes.
hired you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she ordered one because she snuck into my garage.
Yeah,
to get
that
it,
was.
so-
And I love a pretty
Yes.
cake, but Rach,
Oh,
they taste amazing.
That's the
I think that's my favorite part about it. Is sometimes they're so pretty, a cake that you could get, but the inside is like, no.
It
It's
has to be
equal.
perfect.
It
Yep.
has to be good.
Everyone calls my family food snobs. I grew up in a food snob family. We expect perfection, and so I may have made 20 different recipes of white cake because nothing was
Stop.
satisfying myself. And then I found the one I use, and I love it. It's actually from Nicole Hansen in our area as well.
love
She
No
shared-
way.
Yes.
So just a neighbor, you took that recipe and started
Yep.
adding
Tweaking
to
it.
Yep.
So is that where it all started? You just grew up loving baking? or
No,
how-
I hate baking. That's the funnest
Okay, so-
part. I hate baking. I hate baking.
I'm like, okay, tell us more.
Okay, so tell us your
funniest thing.
story about how this came to be.
Of
then.
course. I had my daughter, Evelyn, who is now 3, and she's almost 4, which is crazy. But I developed some pretty bad postpartum depression and anxiety, but I didn't know I had it. I could get out of bed in the morning. I wasn't suicidal. I didn't want to harm her. So all those symptoms that people say
Right.
watch out for, it wasn't me. I had mostly anxiety, so no clue that I had it. But I was in a really difficult place, a really dark place. I just was not myself. And so my daughter turned 1, and I wanted to make her birthday cake. I've never like done something artistic with my hands before. Everyone's like, "What's your talent?" I'm like, talking. That's it. Only involves people.
That's our talent.
That's it.
We love it. You can sit in.
Talking is my favorite thing, but it was so like nerve-wracking for me to create something with my hands for the first time. But my husband was like, "Just do it. Just try it." We got a $20 kit off of Amazon, Cake by Courtney. I just followed her, watched a couple videos, did it, fell in love with it. I loved doing it. I did her cake, and then I did an adult cake, and everyone was like, "It was so good. It's so yummy." My family, the food snobs, liked it, so I knew I passed.
That's where you got.
Or they may have been nice, but anyways, I just started doing it for fun, and I remember one night my husband, we were just kind of talking about it, and he's like, "What would be your dream?" I don't dream, but he was like, what would be your biggest dream for this? And I said, if one person could buy a cake from me, that would be great. And
you didn't dream very big.
No, that's where I was at though. And
Right.
I just started making them, and now we're doing 7 to 8 cakes a week, and we're doing bridal fairs, we're doing cake classes, we're doing huge wedding cakes, huge wedding orders. Like, it has been the craziest thing, but what I'm so grateful for is how it pulled me out of this hard, difficult place. I realized when I had my second daughter, Chloe, that I actually did have postpartum depression and anxiety. I got on some medication, so that made the world
So they
of
never
difference.
really did diagnose that first time.
No,
You just
they had
rolled
no
with
idea.
it.
I had a nurse who I was talking to, and she was like, "Did you ever get diagnosed?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Honey, you have it bad." And I was like, "Oh." And it's supposed to get worse every child you have if you don't get it medicated or fixed.
Okay.
And so it's never really fixed. But so with Chloe, it was even worse than with Evelyn. And I was so grateful that I had cakes, but I also had the medication I needed to be able to help me become myself again.
So were you a little nervous, like knowing that, okay, now I'm having a second,
I was terrified.
and
I didn't
I'm
wanna
now
have
running a
second.
business?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I thought I was going to quit. I thought cakes are done. I'm moving forward.
I remember talking to you then, because I don't remember the conversation, but you're like, "Oh, I'm having a baby, so I think I'm just really going to slow down. I don't know how
Yep.
much more I'm going to do."
I thought I was going to be done, and it was crazy. I really was moving forward with being done because I felt fulfilled. I felt better. And then I had Chloe, and I was worse. And then I started getting asked to be these bridal fairs, like these bridal venues preferred vendors. So Walker Farm reached out to me and said, "Can you be our preferred vendor for wedding cakes? Can you come to our bridal fair? Can
my
you do
gosh.
this?" And I just could not deny that I was supposed to continue
Right.
doing this cake thing. And it's been so nice. Everyone's like, "How do you do it? How do you do it with 2 kids?" And I don't know how I do it. All I know is my daughter loves TV, so anytime I let her watch it, she's like, "This is the best day of my life, Mom."
Mom on TV.
And then
Yes,
Chloe sleeps, and we just bust out cake. My husband is a huge part of it. He bakes just alongside me. He bakes most of it. My mother-in-law
Wow, I
bakes
love
so
that.
much for me. And then it's just a team effort. When I go to bridal fairs, he's alongside me. Everyone sometimes thinks it's Cakes by Zach because Josh is standing in the back, and they're like, "Are you Zach?" And Josh is like, "No, like, this is great. This is great. This is me and my wife." But it could
like,
say
yes, I
Zach.
And take all
So
the
Rachel, I
credit.
want to ask you, is your favorite part baking? Is it decorating, or is it going to the events and mingling with the people?
So like I told you, I hate baking. I hate it, and I hate buttercream.
I love
So
that
that's
so
the
much.
help with that part
much.
of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my husband helps, and my mother-in-law loves
my
baking. So
gosh.
she does most of that.
That's so
and
funny.
then my husband tastes all the buttercream because I just am like so
Oh,
disgusted
see, I
by
would
it.
just be like this.
I know, but it helps that I don't like it.
Because I would eat so
This
much.
is me. I'm like, I hate baking. I hate buttercream.
Yep.
I hate.
So you must love like the
So
creation.
I love the decorating.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
what's fulfilling for me. It's something about taking something in my brain and using my hands to do it fulfills me in such a different way because it's an instant gratification. Like being a mom, you don't really get that very often, but to create something with your own hands, share it with people, and people fall in love with what you've made is just this fulfilling feeling I needed as a young mom. And then I love the people. Like I've been able
The
to
social
get to
aspect.
know so many people and talk and experience what they're going through, especially during COVID. So many moms reached out to me and said, "I can't do anything. Can I just get a cake for my kid?"
It's true.
And I
You
said,
did do
"Yeah,
a lot of that.
totally." And so it just became I have a lot of friends through this business.
Totally, and I would relate. I think during COVID, especially like when you're raising kids and you're isolated, so to speak, and you crave speaking to adults. You're like, would you like a cake?
Please.
Yes. Let's talk about it. Yes.
So I want to hear about. I think you posted about having an event teaching people how to decorate.
Yes.
So you pre-baked the cakes.
My mother-in-law pre-baked. I will
you have
always
a
give her credit.
mother-in-law.
I do.
So
I
did you
do.
do a class?
Yes. So what we did,
so tell us.
my husband and I are building a home right now, and because of interest rates, we thought we were going to have to sell it, which was heartbreaking for us. And so I needed some quick cash, really, to like help us hit the goal of our down payment that we wanted. And so I literally came home and I was like, Josh, I'm going to do a cake class. And he's like, okay. And then 5 minutes later, I just posted. I had no plans. I had no idea what I was doing. I've never done it before.
I truly love this.
Overthink, and then I was like, no, I can't.
Literally, you can't overthink. You just need to dive in.
So I
passion.
downloaded Canva on my phone, created a stupid little flyer that looked so bad. My first one was so bad, but I just posted it and I was like, hey everyone, we're doing a cake class, $50. You leave with a 6-inch cake. My goal was 10 people. I was like, I just want 10 people. $50 was pretty cheap, so I was like, okay, we could do this. And then I got 10 people, and then the next hour I had 20, and then the next 4 hours I had 30.
You're like,
and when I was like, I can't fit this in my free clubhouse anymore. And so I was worried and I was anxious, and then it was crazy. Walker Farms reached out to me after I called them, and they're like, oh, we were just gonna call you. We saw you doing a cake class. Do you wanna do it here?
For free?
And no, so we did a switcheroo. So I did their event cupcakes and cake, and then they let me do it in their venue
Facility,
for free.
but then you show up in this great space.
Yes. And I ended up having 40 people sign up.
Oh,
so
my
there's
heavens.
this photo on my Instagram where it's me in the middle and just 40 grandmas, moms, like boys, like men came, kids came, like girls for girls' nights. Every walk of life came.
Okay, are you
Love
doing
it.
this again? Because I want to come.
Yes.
Yes, and I want to get to that. So anyways, everyone shows up. I'm teaching this class of 40 people. Everyone leaves with their own 6-inch cake.
Okay.
So great. And I fell in love with it. And now all of a sudden I have 40 kits of cake, like spin tables and scrapers and whatnot.
Because you had to get all the supplies.
Yes, and it's so much money. But I decided what I want to do with that is kind of do a rent cakes by Rach. So instead of having, kind of think like you rent a clown, right, to come into a birthday party, you can rent cakes by Rach. I'll come into your home. I'll bring the cake. I'll bring the frosting. I'll bring all the tools. You provide the venue and the freezer, and I will teach whoever you want there how to make their own 6-inch cake. So that's the next goal after I move. I gotta move
It's
first.
like Pamper Chef parties, but
Pamper
cake
Chef.
decorating
Yes.
parties.
Will you just teach how to decorate, or we'll watch you and then decorate our own cake and take it home? And you'll.
So just
And then
the
they'll
same
make
as the
fun of me,
classes,
and it
but
will
at
be
home.
awesome.
Just
because
there you
we'll
go.
do it together. Yes. They
So
make
are
fun of
you
me when I
giving
do that.
people the choice of like, do you want chocolate, vanilla, butter?
Typically, we just pick one. We'll just pick a cake. I'll probably work with the host, whoever that is, and say, okay, which cake do you want to make? If I did multiple, it would just be so much work.
Yeah, right.
And are you going to do like? Oh, what was my question? I was going to ask like a minimum.
So yeah, well, no, I haven't thought that through. Again, this is another like, I'm coming up with this idea.
Yes,
I'm going to do it. But it will be a $75 minimum per head, and then it will just be however many people you want. Just let me know it has to be by this date.
Okay.
So
like a
small
fun girls'
party,
night at
big,
your home for a birthday
Exactly.
party.
a birthday
Yeah.
party, any kind of event. I have a couple corporate events coming up where they want me to do it for their employees. So
That's a great idea.
really neat.
I'm so happy
Okay.
for you.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
The best way to get a hold of you to schedule any of these things.
So, again, I'm like fly the seat of my pants. I don't have a website because
That's fine.
Instagram has worked
Okay,
for me.
okay,
So,
okay.
at Cakes by Rach 686 is my Instagram. You just follow me. On there's a link, and you just click the link, fill out the form, and then I call you, and we plan the cake of your dreams. Or you can call me as well. That's always available, but. That is
Well,
the best
my
way.
son's wedding cake was delicious.
Yeah, they're so good.
It's
Yeah.
still one of
So
my
glad.
favorites.
I'm
And
so
we
glad.
love you, and I love your story and the purpose that it gave you, and then what it came about to
Yes.
be. Like, how amazing!
It really
There's
comes down to
there's always a
accompanying
plan.
that
Yep.
Yeah, if you can get get rid of that fear, which fear run my life.
Yeah.
And I finally, thanks to my husband, was able to kind of overcome that a little bit
Oh, and that
day by
creates-
day.
That support to us so
Yes,
important.
It's
So
just
that's
been so
awesome.
nice. And support from you guys and Spanish Fork. Like, it was
Yeah,
a really
we
kickoff
adore
because
you.
of Spanish Fork. So I could not thank the city enough.
Best of luck.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, our new hospital is turning 1. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. It's hard to believe, but our new Spanish Fork Hospital is celebrating its first year anniversary this month. With all the details, welcome Morgan Mitchell, the Marketing and Communications Specialist, and staying with us for another segment is Megan Johnson, the Nurse Administrator with the Spanish Fork Hospital, to the Chatter.
Thank
Hello,
you.
ladies.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
And I feel like they kind of look like they could be related.
We do get mixed up a few times.
Yes, we have, especially with masks on at work.
Oh, I can see it.
And our names, Morgan, Megan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they're like, is that the same person I
Yes.
just saw?
Yes. Different eye color.
Yes.
Other than that, oh, welcome, welcome, and congratulations on your 1-year anniversary.
Wow.
It is hard to believe. It's hard to believe that it's been a year that I was sitting here a year ago in COVID restrictions. I think we were socially distanced.
That's
and
right.
It was
horrible.
It was crazy, but man, a lot has happened in the last year, and I'm so thankful to be back here with you guys and sitting right next to you.
Tell us a little bit about,
Yes.
give us an update.
So the hospital, we opened April 5th, and we kind of just hit the ground running, especially opening up in the middle of a pandemic. It was crazy, but definitely that this hospital was needed within the community. It was very evident, with COVID numbers and everything that we've done. But we opened, I think we talked last time about opening to a culture of greatness and wanting to open our hospital and it be different. That when you walked through our doors, it just felt different. That our caregivers were engaged, they wanted to be there. And over the last year, we've really identified that happy caregivers, happy employees equals patient satisfaction. They're happy customers, right? And that those really intertwine. And it's really been great to see the hospital progress and grow, and to see our caregivers just so happy and excited to be there. And it's our providers as well. We have, over the last year, we've done just over 2,000 surgeries, about 1,700 endoscopies, so colonoscopies and bronchoscopies. And I did one.
I was one of those.
Yes.
My mammogram is scheduled.
Yes. So we've, speaking about mammograms, we've done over 25,000
You have not.
radiology procedures. So
Wow.
CTs, mammos, ultrasounds, MRIs, X-rays. So over 25,000 of those. We've delivered over 400 babies. Wow. We've admitted over 1,300 patients to our med surge, and we've seen over 15,000 patients in our emergency department. So really doing a lot. Some twice.
Yes.
Really doing some great and amazing work, and just super excited to be there.
Wow.
And excited for what's to come for this year as COVID restrictions kind of ease up, and we're trying to figure out what normal is. Normal for us was opening up in a pandemic, and where you see a lot of the hospitals talking about getting back to normal, we don't know what normal is. And so
That's such a crazy concept. You really don't. You engaged in the middle of it. So now it's like, hey, what do we want to do and change and make better?
And
different?
so this year we're really going to focus on that and doing great things. Our whole motto has been the care close to home, as we have opened up, and trying to keep as many patients as we can in our community and not having to send them to another hospital for care. And so that care close to home is really important to us, and we're looking at trauma certification. We are just out of the canyon, Highway 6, I-15, and so trauma certification for us is recognition that when those traumas come in, that we have the resources, the capabilities, our staff have been appropriately trained. We're focusing on strokes and stroke recognition times, the whole be fast, and making sure that we have those resources and getting patients the care that they needed. And a lot of times with strokes, it might be transferring them to another facility, but getting that care right away because they're so close to us, initiating that care,
and then sending them on to that higher level, really focusing on that. And so lots of great work. Really excited for this next year as we continue to grow and the community continues to grow because it has grown so fast down here.
In so many ways. So Travis, one of our producers here, or helpers here, his new baby is the longest on record at the hospital, 22 inches.
Oh
No
my
way.
God.
Yeah.
Of course, because Travis is tall.
Yes,
You have a tall child. That's a cool fact.
Those are a lot of fun statistics.
Yeah,
Yes.
super fun.
400 babies.
400 babies.
Welcome to the world.
Yes.
In a pandemic.
Yes, right. And you know, with COVID restrictions easing, we're looking at how we can, you know, ease some of those restrictions as well, and excited for those changes. But, you know, opening up in the pandemic, we did not have an opportunity to celebrate our opening. And so as we approach our 1 year, we are taking the opportunity to really celebrate with the community. So on April 23rd, we're going to do a big community event to celebrate, and I'm going to let Morgan tell you just a little bit more
I'm
about
excited.
that.
Okay,
Yes. So, like Megan said, we're hosting an event on April 23rd. So everyone get their calendars out, mark down
I have marked it
April
down.
23rd, noon to 3. And I know you guys are probably thinking that's like lunchtime and your kids are going to be hungry, but don't worry, because our executive chef has created a really awesome menu and options for everyone at the family. And
good.
lunch is on us. So
We like
Yeah,
that.
I like that too. So tell us about some of the activities or what you are going to be doing.
So you'll get to meet caregivers and get to kind of see what they do on the daily, but we'll also have a life-size game of Operation. We're gonna have fun face and body paint to kind of look like you just stepped out of an x-ray. It will be like bones. So that will be really fun for kids. And then it's spring, right? So spring cleaning is just around the corner. So go through your cabinets, get old medications, bring them to our event. We'll have a medicine drop box, and then we'll just take care of the rest. You don't even have to worry about how to dispose of it. And then finally, another cool thing we're doing is Hereditagene is a study that Intermountain's conducting right now, and you'll be able to kind of learn about the study there and even participate if you want. So the study, you just get some blood drawn and it goes into our system. So if you would like, that's an option for our event.
Okay.
So we're really excited to have the community out there.
That's exciting. I
Yes.
remember being at the big ribbon cutting, but you couldn't open it up to the public. It was a
No.
very small group.
We did the VIP tours, which
Yes.
were, you had to pre-sign up. We only had a limited amount of spots, small groups, and so the whole community didn't really get to see
Yeah.
that. And you know what was cool about the VIP is you kind of got to see some behind the scenes. You got to go into the OR before we did the terminal
Right.
clean and just see some of the things that they do and really interact. And you know, it's just it's a cool opportunity to finally be able to celebrate everything that we've been doing,
Yeah.
the hard work that we've put in, just the growth over the last year as we've gotten used to how we operate and our processes, and just every day literally we improve and we just get better with every patient, every visit, every family member that we interact with. We just continue to grow and get better.
I like the idea of bringing the whole family to an event, because I think the first time I do anything, it can be scary.
Yes.
And so if my first visit to the hospital is actually, I don't have to be there, it's not like one of the most scary moments in my life, or I'm not in labor or, taking a child that's injured, that it's more of, I can like pay attention to different things. So when I do go in case of an emergency, then I feel like a little more familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar.
This is a
You've been
good
there
idea.
before.
And you'll get to meet our caregivers. So in those emergencies, you'll see a friendly face now, and you'll be comfortable.
I mean, and I will even speak to that. Even when we were in an emergency situation and we had the kids with us, the ladies on staff took the kids, gave them coloring books, bought them some sodas, and made them feel safe that mom was in good care and that it was going to be fine. So I think that's probably really good also to just share, even in the waiting room experience.
Right, because that needs to be a positive experience, because that's a scary
When you receive
experience.
news.
It is,
Oftentimes.
and it has been more difficult and challenging with COVID. When those scary situations happen, what do you do with kids? Because we're trying to be sensitive to patients'
Yes.
needs to families' needs, and it's been really hard and difficult. So we really work to focus on every individual in that moment, and I mean focusing on the patient themselves, but it really is about that whole family as a whole, and how do we give them all that great experience.
I feel like they're an extension of our little Spanish Fork community on a grander scale, of course, but I feel like that sense of neighborly love when I go to the hospital here in Spanish Fork.
Well, and it really is
do.
true.
It
I mean,
truly is.
I've lived in Spanish Fork for 12 years now, and so when somebody has a bad experience, if they know, especially in my neighborhood, they know that I work there. I'm the first one that they come to. And so I want it to be a good experience. And you know, Francis, our administrator, will say the exact same thing. Absolutely. Like, it is about the experience. And, you know, we cannot please everybody. As hard as we try, there's just those ones that you can't please. But we will try very hard to make it an experience for everybody, knowing that this is our community. And a lot of the caregivers that work at the Spanish Fork Hospital, this is their community. I would say probably 80% of them live in South County. You know, as far as we have some that come up from Nephi and
Sanpete area,
Sanpete, Manti that travel up. And you know, we have a few from Pleasant Grove, American Fork that have come just for the culture that we've created. But most of our caregivers, this is their community, and they're very passionate about the care we provide.
Well, we love you guys.
Thank you.
All right, mark your calendars.
Yes, it's great to be here.
Yes, welcome.
Next, we'll talk about where I've been the past few weeks. Stay with us for more Studio Chatter. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. One day you feel great, and the next day you don't. That happened to me. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Well, and thank you for talking about it.
I think it's important to talk about it because when you don't know, you don't know. And I've been learning things along the way and my experience, and I've actually held back a little bit. I haven't really shared on social media yet, just to kind of make sure that we were out of the woods and making sure that everything was okay. And I know that people have been reaching out. So I will just start where we left off. Quite literally, the last time we were filming, and just on the, you know, really on the heels of Studio Chatter, I don't know if you recall, but we were in studio and we had talked to one of our guests who shared that they lived nearby.
Yes, I remember this moment actually.
And I can't remember what was going on, but I just couldn't recall, like,
it was your address.
Yes.
Do you remember asking you
and
where
there
you
were
were?
2 people in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, I'm like, but I live kind of there, but I could not recall the street name. And I, you know, just shrugged it off as a late night, like, you know, a little off.
And I thought maybe you just didn't want to share your address on air.
Like,
Was what I thought maybe.
And I didn't even think probably that at all. I just, you know, I live right here, It was fine. So I went home that evening and we were talking about our upcoming vacation. And I could not talk about the Hawaiian vacation. And I'm like, so what? You know, the island we go to. Where do we go to in Hawaii? Oahu. Like, it just couldn't come out. So again, we just shrugged it off. You're tired, go to bed. Next morning, on our way to dance convention. So daughter has to go down to the studio, run the solo. That morning, though, even things that I would normally do in the routine, just Alexa, turn on the fish tank, all the things you usually do. And it was like tank, fish, like just kind of all over the place. And my husband said, are you joking? And I got really upset. And I ran into the bathroom and again, shrugged it off, took my little notebook with me. I'm like sharing with my friend at the studio. I'm like, I don't know, like scared, like I just couldn't get any of it out. So we'll take her into Instacare, or take her to the hospital, see what's going on. So they were very polite and checked me in and said, did you fall? Like, what has happened? Has somebody beaten you? Like, I mean, all the things would be like, no, I'm fine. So they did the scan, and they said, you have a brain bleed, and I could probably even share the pictures with you. And I said, no, I don't. And Nurse Jenny, bless her heart, and even since I've gone back, they've said it's Nurse Jenny with the Australian accent. So thank you very much, Jenny. But they said, oh, she said, honey, no, you have a brain bleed. You're going to the hospital. I said, no, I'm not going in the ambulance. Absolutely not. You're not turning on the lights, and I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to a dance convention today. And anyway, they were very insistent, transported me. And then things get, scary when you hear that you're going to ICU, you have a brain bleed,
They put you right into ICU, right?
Yes.
Explain a little bit to us, maybe both of you, what a brain bleed is or what causes it, and maybe that's a continuation of the story.
Well, I definitely want to share stroke. What are they?
The stroke symptoms.
Symptoms.
Yeah,
there we go.
The BFAS.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've had everything from a brain bleed to a mini stroke to a mini stroke with aphasia or a blood clot. So it's been called all those different things.
Okay.
But I displayed many of the symptoms. And really that morning, actually, I'm like, oh, I get migraines all the time. So I took, a couple Tylenol and called it a good day. But it was so yes, let's talk about that. Share. That's the important part. Because with migraines, my tongue would go numb. I definitely get the aura, the double vision, even kind of your limp arm going.
And you've had that?
I've had that before many times.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, but the weird part was the language.
The speech.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is with you articulate and know your words so good. For me, I don't even know if anyone would pick up on it.
Right, they'd be like, oh, Angie kept talking
Natasha, and when I came to visit you the first time at your home.
Stacy called me and she was really concerned.
Yeah, because you were just like, no, I'll be back. And I was like, Angie, she's not coming back, and we are not going to let her for a month.
Well, and that's the part that would make me cry, because aphasia, by definition, is basically you're a hostage. You are a hostage to your language. It's like charades. Like, as much as I want to verbalize, I just
Can't get it out.
couldn't. I couldn't. And everything was literally backwards. And a word like magnet that you've known your whole life, I would be like, magnet, like trying to spell it out. And I would practice with Gunner's little books, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to read out loud again. I can read, and you're an intelligent person, and you're literally trapped inside your own body. And I think that was probably the hardest part, when we were like, is this gonna be this way forever?
So I think that's what I want to ask. Why is it, she's healed? I bet you're 95% great again? Do you feel like you're?
I feel that way, and I could probably even share those pictures also. You can literally see kind of where the pool of blood and how now it stopped on its own. That's why there was no emergency surgery. I mean, and most people were like, oh, your hair. I'm like, no, that's fine. If it's, life and death. But I guess it just kind of stopped on its own and will eventually just absorb into the brain on its own.
So why does that happen?
As you
everyone?
get rid of that pressure, that blood that's there, that's not supposed to be there, you'll get some of that. You're progressively getting back to what your normal state is. And with brain bleeds and strokes, sometimes it's a spontaneous, sometimes it's a head injury. With strokes, it's family history, it's medical history. It's a slew of things, and really when it comes down to those, for us, time is brain, and really that is what we talk about with strokes. That time is brain, and so when we focus on strokes and activation, one thing with Spanish Fork Hospital that we've really worked on this last year is the activation. If somebody comes in with deficits, such as yours, pulling those resources together, getting the CT scan as quickly as we can, so that we get you the care that you need in appropriate amount of time. And if medications were needed to be involved for, maybe a clot, for a stroke, that we're getting them in within that 4-hour window to make sure that you're not succumbing to any permanent damage to your brain. And that's where you get those long-term effects. The longer that the brain goes without the blood, you're going to see those longer term effects that never come back.
So then incident number 2, after I'd even been discharged from the hospital, that Sunday I was home, I was doing fine, and I went downhill again, and it was like, and the language all over, and I just couldn't come for the words. And so I had my phone and I'm pointing to it and I'm telling Keith, I wanted to tell him 911, I wanted to tell him ambulance, I wanted to say those things, and I'm like hitting my phone saying, blue people, the blue people, and I guess that was such a blessing.
Gosh.
The Spanish Fork Hospital is so close. I mean, he's like, kids, go. We're going now.
Wow.
And we were there, and they responded. So and Nurse Jenny again, like she was there, and she was, and I guess that's the feeling that's just when it's so close to home, and so that warm feeling. Like literally hugged me and said, I've been so worried about you. And she was it was so amazing, because that day I did not want to go.
Well, and what a blessing
Yes.
that she already knew your history.
Right.
Yes.
Like you didn't have to say anything,
Yeah.
just to show up. She could get things going.
Yes, and I had told her before, I'm like, I do not want to go in the ambulance. I couldn't say ambulance then, but I didn't want to go.
I don't want to go.
No.
Then you saw Jenny and you're like, yes.
But, it's just, it's been a blessing really all the way around. Like I'm back to normal, so to speak. I didn't have to have speech therapy. Yet. There, I guess I probably could have some help. I don't know, but the reading has kind of come. And yes, having the blessing or having the hospital so nearby, everything has just been amazing. But if there's anything to share, it's if you recognize those symptoms with anybody, because even sleeping on it overnight, we were like, like maybe, who knows?
So what are some of those symptoms that we can look for?
So we look at the BFAST acronym, we look at balance, we look at eye movement, are they symmetrical? Are you able to follow the fingers? And then the FAST, facial, we look at the symmetry, we look at arms, your droop, speech. Can you get it out? And then we look at time, we look at onset of symptoms, and I can't stress enough that when things like that, just don't start making sense, trust yourself. And it's, we've worked hard. We've actually activated about 115 strokes in the hospital since we've opened. And it's, the activation just gives us the resources that we need to make sure that we're hitting those time limits. And so really understanding that BFAST, the acronyms, the symptoms, trusting yourself, and we will never question your concern. When you walk in thinking that you're having a stroke, we are activating that. We're taking it seriously because only you and your family know you the best. And so if it's not normal, that is definitely what we go off of, and we just hit the ground running and
yes, until
we figure out what it is.
Oh gosh, yes.
So scary, Natasha.
Yeah, it was scary. And kudos to the hospital and the staff. They responded just to everything. So everything has been great so far. Maybe some dull headaches here and there. Just everything resolving itself. And sometimes the double vision. And just asking people to be patient with me, because I do question sometimes. I'm like, is it coming out the right way? I'm like,
I bet.
So
the fact that you're sitting here having this had happened a month ago is a blessing of itself. And
this was motivation in and of itself. I'm like, I have to read.
Natasha, as you may guess, she doesn't like to rest. She would
or miss out on anything.
She was feeling like she was missing out on all the fun.
FOMO.
Oh, I have FOMO, yes, yes.
So we were just like telling her, no.
Yes.
No, but I can just, no. But you're going to stay home and rest.
There's a weird part too where you almost feel isolated. Like there's something that you can't see it, but there's something wrong with you, So I think that's even why I've even pushed back a little bit for people to reach out, because I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, you know, you just don't want to be a burden either, you know? So thankful to all of those who stepped out of their way anyway. Yes, and sitting around does me no good either with comfort foods. But it's been great. So I'm happy to be back.
We're glad you are healed.
Super grateful.
And healing.
Thank you. Yes.
And thanks for helping us see a little bit.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, because that's very emotional, and it's hard. And
it is.
But I love that you had such a great experience, and we have worked so hard to build that amazing team in that ER, and man, they are on fire. They work together.
They do.
They
really
they
do.
can read each other's minds. You know, what they're thinking before they're thinking it, and it's so cool to see that team work together. And
yes,
and that's successful.
I will definitely attest to that. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
We love you, Natasha.
Thank you. There's more studio chatter coming up. Welcome back. What did we learn today? Gosh,
What a fun
so many
segment.
things, huh?
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Oh,
What?
ooh, a treat. Thank you.
Okay.
You guys, I didn't have dinner. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
so
let's-
a 4-pack of ice cream. It looks like strawberry cheesecake. Oh, salted caramel, I bet.
Ooh, yummy.
Something peanut butter
And
and s'mores, maybe?
ooh, let's open it up and dig
And is that like a
your-
strawberry
here's your
cream or
scooper.
something?
in. There's
There's more?
another one.
What?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Why are
Pete.
we
Well, we're
so
gonna be
lucky?
too
And I
involved.
haven't been to Handles yet,
I
guys.
haven't either.
Okay, I have to have a little peanut butter.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
This
do
looks
that.
like blueberry, chocolate. I don't know. Their abbreviations
We're
are.
going to be so involved in
that's
in
fun.
ice cream that we're not going to be able to
Yeah.
close out the show.
We could just
Great
pick
guess.
from it.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your
Yes.
story.
Of course.
It was
yes.
really,
I hope if somebody
Natasha.
can learn, maybe just
Yeah.
to
Well, I
not
think
ignore.
it's so scary to share those personal moments, and especially when you're right in the midst of it. Like, I don't know how I am,
Right.
but like how useful that knowledge is for other people that may be experiencing or could in the future.
Right. Well, and I guess it's scary probably to just not know the complete outcome. I
Right.
think I was a little nervous to come back
Right.
and not be able to even read again or speak again, and you know, I guess when it affected the communication part of the brain. I've learned so many things about the brain too.
Oh, I bet you
So,
have.
Yes.
You could start your own little help, like, group.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'm keeping the spoons
No,
away
you're
from
fine.
me.
I just
But-
am keeping this.
No, and I'm thrilled to see our guest today and learn all the things about Rach and her cakes and her business.
I
And
love
her
it though.
help-
It's not just her postpartum. It was
Right.
her
Needing to be
gumption just to
fulfilled
get that
and-
money earned. And
Yes.
we need more money for our down payment so we can make more dreams
And like
happen.
how she said, like, okay, what skills or talents? Hello, they're right there staring at you in the face. Like, take ownership and have confidence and just do it.
And let's talk about talent. I mean, that greenhouse is out of control.
Amazing.
Yes. Laughing Al and Travis. And
So
his
kind to
wife
us, and I love he's just invested in the community. He just keeps coming up with more and new.
yes.
I'm in our hospital. I
And
mean,
willing to teach and share too, even like their skills. So even cakes, even greenhouse, all the things how to take, learn and do things, right?
So for the record,
Okay.
all of it is delicious. Like every bite I'm having is
The peanut butter, I got an actual
chocolate.
peanut butter cup in it, and that's delish. I feel like I
this
need to try
is
some of this.
so good. This just sold me on Handles.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting
Blueberry.
chocolate something. No, it's very, very
Well, how about thanks for being here with us?
Yeah,
we
so
hope you
thanks to the
enjoyed the
hospital.
program. If you've learned something new today, please tell a friend about us.
good. Thank you.